Uh-oh.
My baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Uh-oh. Who let these two loose? Welcome to Agree to Disagree. Obviously, you got the best two guys from Agree to Disagree. The one and only Uncle Sweeps, Greg Milakovic, joining you here. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll get to some Eagles talk. We'll get to some Sixers talk, free agency, Eagles training camp. We'll end the show, of course, with our Crumb of the Week. But the main topic at hand, brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal, 2 locations, Cherry Hill, Burlington, New Jersey. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. The Phillies are hot. They must have listened to our show the last couple weeks. Tommy rips JT, goes on fire. Tommy hates Bryce, is on fire. We talked about an 8-game, 10-game winning streak last week, and here we are, winners of 8 in a row. So our poll question tonight, brought to you by Body Check Wellness. Use it, code A2D for 25% off at bodycheckwellness.com. I got my stuff in the other day. Got a little lotion, got a little body rub for the back. Big guy, standing for a long time. You get a little back pain. Got the body rub. Bodycheckwellness.com. Promo code A2D for 25% off. The Phillies will win the NL East. Do you agree or disagree? After this weekend, I'm going to agree. And I'm sure everybody probably will too, because we're all fired up, 8 in a row. But where I was most critical of this team, and Sweeps, I'm sure you're probably the same thing, I was most critical of their pitching, right? Getting consistent pitching. We knew if the offense got hot, they could put up runs. They've done that, right? We've had homers. We hit 3 homers, I think, the last 2 or 3 games at least in each game. So we knew the offense could get hot, especially in hitting weather here. But it was always come down to the pitching. That was always, to me, whether they'd be able to pitch well enough. And we saw the one bad game that we got out of a starter the other day was from our ace, Arnone. And we found a way to win that game. As we continue through August into September, if we can continue to win those types of games when we have an off performance from a pitcher, and we had the 3 home runs last night that we were able to, thank God we had a lead, we were able to overcome. But our pitching is going to be our issue or our helper. So right now it's helping. I'm going to agree. They're going to win the NL East, and it's going to be a red October, and I can't wait for it. I'm here. Let's go. Sweepsy.
I agree as well, my friend. You were waiting for that streak. You were waiting for them to get hot, and that's exactly what they did last Sunday. Amazing what happened. Baseball's so beautiful. People think it's boring and they don't like it, and that's great. That's your prerogative. You know what I mean? But last Sunday, they were 4.5 back. Right, lost 2 to the Pirates. We're left for dead. Right after the trade deadline, looked feeble. Looked, I don't want to say disinterested, but they went 13 straight innings without getting a hit or a run. It was real. Last Friday and Saturday was real desperate times. Real, a lot of sadness. A lot, it was awful.
Yep.
And then they got well on Sunday, which they needed to do. 20 hits, 15 runs. We talked about it. And then, and then they took off from there and they took care of what they were supposed to do. You know what I mean? You're supposed to, you need to grab that game against the Pirates because you already stubbed your toe. Mm-hmm. All right. And then, you took care of the Nationals, right? And obviously it was a dogfight. It's in the division. I get that. We thank them for trading Brad Hand. Not that he's any good, but when you get that inexperience on the back end, you see what happens. Phillies fans know all about that. The last 3 outs are the toughest to get, and the Phillies win 2 of those 4 games in the 9th inning. All right, so and that just catapulted them right into this weekend. And they were able to grab that game on Friday and just absolutely take the Mets' heart. on Saturday. Because, if it wasn't for loser, whoever that dude was, I mean, poor guy, I don't want to kill him too much. That's why, I don't even know who the fuck he is. I mean, I know trying to get outs and stuff, but if it wasn't for that dude, Mets get shut out 2 days in a row, just absolutely feeble on offense. To me, they're done. It's 2.5, and I understand we just talked about Phils were 4.5 last Sunday. I get it. All right. So baseball is beautiful like that, but you could just tell when a team is done and when a team's got nothing and they're just going to roll over. Look like Baez got hurt again today. Not that he was anything. That was their one big splash. He's been horse shit. Just to me, that guy's he's a showboater. He's a team cancer. I don't know him personally, but that's the way I look at things. He's a me guy. So that was their move. As Phillies fans, thank you. Thank you, Steve Cohen, for not doing what you're supposed to do and leading the division and going for the kill. That was your one move. So, appreciate you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The young Das, I agree. I understand the hesitation. I get it. You like we said last Sunday, a week ago, they were 4.5 back, right? And now they're 2 games. Braves won, right? So they're 2 games up.
Yeah. And that's
Braves won today. So I completely understand. I normally am a hesitant one or a disagree, but I'm fired up. You saw Wheeler come out today and absolutely dominate the Mets today on Doc Holliday's, retirement for his number. 22 consecutive batters to start as Holliday did it. It's insane. Wheeler was unhittable tonight, which was awesome to see because now we roll into and before we go into this next week, what we talked about last week, right? Those sweeps. Let's go on a run. Let's go 8 of 10, right? 8 in a row, 8 of 10, 10 of 12. Well, right now we're hitting both of them. We are 8 of 10, and we are 9 of our last 11. So, those are those runs that these teams go on. And what's most important about these runs is, yes, our stars are getting hot, right? Bryce is hot. JT's hot. When Reese was in the lineup, he was swinging pretty well. Mean Gene's hot, right? So our stars are hot, but we're also getting contributions from everybody else, right? We're getting, Archie Bradley comes in and nuts out a save, right? Brad Miller coming in with 3 home runs the other night and a walk-off granny, last week. So we're getting contributions from everybody. And to go on those types of runs, you need contributions from everyone down the list.
Yeah, you need all 25 guys. And that's we talked about that weeks ago when they weren't hot yet. Like when you want to take that next step and you want to be a great team and you want to be taken seriously, then that's when you find other ways to win. Like you're getting it from, whether it's on the offensive end, the defensive end, the pitching, you find one of those aspects. You don't have to be great in all 3 phases, all right, on any day. Right. But, one of those other departments finds a way to get you to the field, get you to the finish line, and there's a lot of baseball left. That's why I'm agreeing. All right. But I ain't worried about the Mets. The Braves, without Acuna, Braves are the ones. All right. That's the one you got to worry about. They're coming. A terrible loss for them on Saturday night, which was, huge for the Phillies. They spit the hook back. Will Smith, was horseshit. And, that was a huge game right there. But yeah, so you worry, they're the ones that you worry about. Like,
absolutely.
I think you put the Mets in your rearview mirror, even though it's only 2.5 games. I just, like I said, I don't see it. You can continue to throw dirt on them. I feel like they're finished. You know what I mean? So if you can get any kind of separation from the Braves, right? In these next 2 months, and then that's when you feel really, that's when you feel good about yourself. But
yeah, absolutely. And those were the guys at the deadline that worried me the most, even before we went on this run, right? Because they lost Acuna, and then they went out and got, whether they're good or not, they went out and addressed that outfield missing position, right? With Soler, with Peterson, who else? Duvall, right? So they went out and addressed that, trying to make up for the loss of one of the best players in Major League Baseball. And Ed, you're absolutely right. That cohesion, that team building and stuff is starting to show.
And that's what you do when you're a great organization, though. You know what I mean? As much as you don't like
Yes.
to admit it, you know what I mean? Because we hate the Braves and they're a rival. They're a rival. But it's a great organization. I mean, they didn't get to the finish line all these years. You know what I mean? But they do things right, and that's what you do. You try, like you said, if you get 3 guys to get the same production as one superstar, then you fill that hole, and that's what they're trying to do. Solar has been hot since they picked him up. The ball is just a pro's pro. You know what I mean? Kind of reminds me of a right-handed Matt Stairs.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
You plug him in there. You hit him off the bench, or you plug him in a spot start, and he's gonna give you some production. You know what I mean? So. You knew, I agree with you. You knew they were going to do what they had to do to stay in it. You know what I mean? So they're the ones you're worried about. Trying to get some separation from them. You know what I mean? But it's one of those years. Like I said, it's Wheeler has. I know people want to. Once again, we should never have to get into who you want to choose here or choose there. You know what I mean? Yep. It's in the season. You know what I mean? So I understand people are pissed off at Nola, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? On the road, he just hadn't been that guy. The last year and a half, and but when you get a guy like Wheels, that's okay for that guy to take the mantle. You don't have to have the title. I know people fall in love with titles, and that's what you want. And hey, I thought this guy's really. It doesn't matter. You can have co-aces. You know what I mean? And I'm not. Yep. It's not even a comparison this year. It's Wheels, and it's Wheels and Wheels only. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the guy every 5th day you give him the ball, and you expect him to stop a losing streak, all right, and to start a winning streak. And that's why he's in the Cy Young conversation. You know what I mean? And you just hope the other guy get hot too, and then you're really dangerous. You know what I mean? So it's not about hey, who's the ace, who's this. It's just take the ball when you're fucking called, when it's your turn, take the ball and get after somebody, as Ranger has done, as Ranger showed us. You know what I mean? That's another positive. You know what I mean? Where they haven't extended him yet. They tried to the other day. You know what I mean? Where we were talking about, you were talking about it on Wednesday, and we talked about it in our group chat.
His first start, right?
Yeah, we were pissed off. He cruised through 3 innings, 33 pitches. Yeah. You got to extend them to 50 there. You know what I mean? So I didn't like what they did there last week against the Nats. You know what I mean? In yesterday's start, it was 61 pitches into the 3rd. He walked some guys. It wasn't as clean. So they got to the pitch count they wanted, and that's it doesn't matter about innings like we talked about. It's about pitch count. That's how you extend yourself. You don't need to. Innings don't mean shit. You go 7 and throw fucking 50 pitches. You know what I mean? Like that's extending you. Building your fatigue up. I mean, building your body up, building your legs up, building your arm strength up. All right, to give you some, to stretch yourself out.
For sure. Ed, thanks for chiming in from Idaho, brother. Check out Reddit. Reddit usually has streams of games. I know you said the Rockies are your team out there. I yuck as well. But check Reddit. Reddit might have some streams for you. They're usually pretty good. And back to Ben Josh's comment. Yes, absolutely. I wish we would have gotten an outfielder. Me and Sweeps were talking before coming on how, with the Giants playing Chris Bryant in center field, how much that kind of really wish that we would have gotten Bryant as opposed to Galvis. Because I do agree. Our outfield depth has taken a hit so far. But it looks like Kutch might be coming back soon off of his DL stint. And hopefully Odubel doesn't go to the DL. Or the IL, whatever they call it these days. Hopefully Odubel, he had a monster bomb yesterday. Upper decker, wicked bat flip. I thought Crucky's comment on the bat flip was awesome on the television. He said, "Don't worry, he bat flips a fly out the right too." But yeah, hopefully these guys don't have to go. Doobie doesn't have to go on the IL because you're right though in the premise that. Our outfield depth has been stretched. We're about as far as we can get right now.
Absolutely, brother. As far as that other comment, like I get it. Like everybody has, their opinions. Everybody has their guys that they like, and listen, Nola has disappointed, in the last year and a half. But I don't know about that. You know what I mean? Like maybe it is. You know what I mean? So who are we to argue? You know what I mean? I think it's in there. The guy's got good stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe that's it. Maybe maybe that's where he lands. You know what I mean? In the next couple of years, you know what I mean? Maybe he is a number 3. You know what I mean? Who am I to scream from the mountaintops and say that guy's wrong? You know what I mean? I don't believe that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I think everybody has years.
What's up, Chuckster?
You know, I don't really count last year. You know, it was one of those like, you know, it's not a strike shortened season.
Sure.
You know, everything, you know, everybody's routine got, you know, screwed up and, you know, like I said, no excuse, you know, you take the ball, you go do your thing, you know what I mean? But it was just, you know, I don't really, you know, I don't really count last year, you know what I mean? As much as I, you know, put stock into this year, you know what I mean? And his road woes have been horrible, you know what I mean? So there ain't no running from that, you know what I mean? So he's going to need to, like, you know, he's going to need to string together like 5 or 6 good starts, you know, these next 2 months to, you know, to really get this, you know, to really show that, you know, if it's a red October where you have confidence in a guy in a game 2.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Whether you're up 1-0 or you're down 0-1, you can give the ball to Nola in a game 2 and feel comfortable with
and feel confident. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, and you know, back to trying to pick one or whatever. One's being paid like an ace and Wheeler, one's really not, right? I mean, we got Nola on the cheap, right? So, not saying it's you know, that has anything to do with it, but we're paying Wheeler for these performances, right? You go out and sign Wheeler to a $125 million contract. This is the guy you expect to get. Now, yes, do we all hope and do we all wish that Nola was that guy right next to him, that 1A, 1B type of guy? Sure. He's just not there right now. But coming Tuesday, he could come back and just shove it to Max Scherzer in his Dodger blue here at home. Yeah, right? Yeah. And that would be the start that we would need from Nola to your point, to continue to roll through the rest of the year, right? Let's get him going now.
Yeah, no, it's a huge point by you, because I was going to say that earlier, not necessarily about him. I was going to say, if what you just built, these 8 games right here, this is a huge series. Yep. Tuesday went, you know, starting on Tuesday. This is a measuring stick. You know what I mean? Like, you took care of business against the Pirates and Nats, and you came from behind and you won in dramatic fashion, and you showed your toughness, and you know, and like we addressed, and you took care of the Mets. And, you know, this was. You know, this was a huge weekend, you know what I mean? But now, once again, you put that in the rearview mirror, and, you know, now you look forward, and this is a huge Dodger series to see where you stack up, you know what I mean? And like you said, to start things off, if Nola gives you that kind of outing on Tuesday, and you can find a way to get this to 9 in a row, and you win that first one, look out.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question. And Nerdy Sports Guy, I completely agree. Just glad Wheeler had the day he did after Doc had his number retired. That was awesome. There's certain things in sports that just make sports awesome, right? And today was one of those days. It's I know it's why almost everybody on this platform loves watching whatever sport that we enjoy, if not all of them, right? It's for those storylines. It's for those moments where you just go, you can't script this any better.
Yeah.
Like the way it turns out is perfectly scripted, better than any movie, better than anything. And that's why they make movies about sports, right? It's because you can't script what happens sometimes, and most of the time in sports, in real sports. Our buddy Rich is in the back end. That sports scripted.
Real, definitely real.
It's still real to me, damn it.
But no, you're right, absolutely. And like I said, that's the beauty of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whether any of those sports, you know, who rises to the occasion, on that day. You know, if somebody's being honored, or somebody had passed away early in the day or 2 days before that, you know what I mean, before an NFL game, whatever it is. And guys go out there and have the best game of their lives, you know what I mean? And guys answer and step up, and that's what makes it, and you said, it just makes it storybook, and that's what makes it amazing. And I don't know how, it doesn't have to be your whole life, you know what I mean? But I just don't know how people, can't get behind sports. You know what I mean? You don't have to be crazy about it like us, you know what I mean? But there's just so many good moments. All right. So many teachable moments that transcend to life too. Yep. You know what I mean? Like not just sports, and it's just, it's fantastic.
Yeah, Red said, I'll get to that in 1 second, but Sweeps, on that point, if you go, look at the Olympics, right? The women's golf just happened. Lydia Ko was the bronze medalist. She won silver in Rio. Her grandmother died right before the Olympics, and she was there, going through it and struggled the first day, and then was tied for the lead or was one shot off the lead most of that fourth round, and ended up with a bronze. So, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's stuff like that, right? It fuels us, or it fuels these athletes to go do things that they might not have inside of them, because how else do you describe it, right? It's what happens. Yeah, and it's amazing.
Yep, for sure, 100%, brother.
Yeah. So Red said, here we go. Tuesday is Noah Scherzer. Wednesday, ESPN game. It's Gibson versus David Price. Thursday is a 105 getaway day. The Phillies have yet to name a starter. That's the Chase Anderson injury. But it potentially could be Ranger, though, because with the off day, they might be able to bring him back on normal rest and not need that necessarily that fifth starter going against the good old wonky eye, Julio Urias.
He went Saturday, right? So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't need that fifth spot. So it's most likely Ranger, although it's not listed yet. And then Wheeler starts off the.
Who's going for the Dodgers on Thursday? I'm sorry.
Urias.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
And almost as important as the Dodgers series, and not that, but the Reds right behind it a couple of weeks ago were just as bad and a dumpster fire as we were. And they're just as hot as us now. So It's not like, we can't just, take this 8 wins, potentially 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers at home, and then think, all right, we're just going to cruise through the Reds, because the Reds need our attention as well.
Oh, no, absolutely. And the fact that they went on this streak is not only, it's twofold for me. You know what I mean? You can get to the finish line of the division, but the Padres have come back to you in the wild card as well. Yeah. So now, like you said, to your point, that Red Series is, monumental. I mean, so, you're not overlooking, obviously, the Dodgers. You got to get one step at a time. But that Red Series is monumental for that very reason. The Reds are right there, too. It's the Reds, Phillies are leading the division now. But if the Braves were to overtake you or whatever in the next month and a half, you can hang around that wild card. You know what I mean? And, where a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, it looked to be, 3 teams out of the NL West, you know what I mean? And it still very well might, you know what I mean? But the Padres had come back to the pack.
Yeah, so, right now the Dodgers have that first spot, but to your point, the Braves are 6.5 back, so we're 2 ahead of them. So we'd be 4.5 if we were in that discussion to the Padres, and the Reds are 2.5 back. So yeah, I mean, absolutely, the Padres came coming back to earth, and we see them there next week, right? We see them after we go to Arizona.
Yeah, it's
little West Coast, Arizona, San Diego next week.
Yeah, big stretch coming up. It's huge. It's huge. I mean, you don't have to.
This division is like the NFC East.
You don't gotta win. Yeah, you don't gonna win 15 in a row, but you gotta continue to play well, and you gotta just try from this point on. After you caught them and you got the lead, now you gotta just win series. You don't have to win 10 in a row, 15 in a row. That's all gravy. You don't have to have those.
That's what you need to do to get there.
Yeah. You can't lose 4 in a row, 5 in a row, 6 in a row anymore. You can't do that anymore. All right. And if you drop a series, all right, and you make sure you don't get swept, you know what I mean? But if you can win series, now you just got to try to win series. Try to win a series. Try to win. Keep piling up series wins, and you'll stay where you need to be. You know what I mean? And Jesse's right. We laughed about that early in the season. We laughed about that all year. I mean, that they. It was like the NL East. You know what I mean? It was that's just like the Eagles. It was just one of those things coming into the season. It was on paper, going to be, had a chance to be the best division. You know what I mean? And the Braves and Phillies started off horrible. The Nats, were brutal, and it was a fire sale. You know what I mean? So that division got, everybody thought the Marlins would, after last year's playoff appearance, would be better. They came back to just being the Marlins, and and then now the AL East and the NL West, turned out to be the two best divisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On paper, the AL East has always been there, but there were some seasons of down years. You know what I mean? We didn't know if the Blue Jays had enough to get there, and they still haven't proven enough. They don't have enough to get there yet. You know what I mean? That's how loaded the AL is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've won. They're
8 of 10 too.
I was gonna say they're playing as hot as the Phillies, and they can't even keep their head out of the fucking sand. They haven't gained any ground, so it's it's crazy over there. So to Jesse's point, yeah, absolutely, you're fortunate enough to be in the division you're in, but if you just keep putting together, good baseball games and a good effort. You'll have a shot to win every night. That's all we ever asked. You know what I mean? Whether they get there or not, we'd always say, hey, listen, just give us an honest effort. All right, play hard. All right, no showboat, and play your ass off, and let the chips fall where they may. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Ilyava, absolutely about September, and then the Mets play Dodgers and San Fran 13 times. 13 straight games, but your September schedule, I didn't realize how easy the September schedule is. And this is either going to help us separate or make another collapse just that more infuriating, right? Because you got Washington, Miami, Colorado, the Cubs, Mets, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. And then you end the season Atlanta, Miami. Like, you might might win every game in September. But yes, as long as we're close and/or winning, our September schedule should be a benefit. You're absolutely right. Naturally, what worries me though is the Phillies of the past tend to play down to whatever competition that we're playing. Hopefully, this is a new year and a new team. Yep.
No, absolutely. And this is a huge 3-week stretch right here, to that point. You know what I mean? That's will you catapult into September, or will you limp into September, where if you're limping into September, let's hope not. I'm just saying, if you're limping into September, then that's when those bad teams and that bad schedule can still find a way to bite you in the ass. And we know, the Phillies from 2 weeks ago, that's going to happen. They'll play down the last Friday.
Yeah.
Is Saturday, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's a terrible Pirates team, you know what I mean? And next thing you know, if you're not paying attention, or you take somebody too lightly, all right, you get hit on the nose with a newspaper, all right, like you're a little puppy, all right, and next thing you lose 2 out of 3 to a Pirates team that doesn't belong in the same stadium as you. You know what I mean? So, these next 3 weeks are huge.
Yeah, and that was kind of that same point, right? When Noel was struggling with, what up, Bryce? Huge win streak, I love it. But when Noel was struggling with the Nationals the other day.
What's up? I thought Harp was checking in.
No, when Noel was struggling with the Nationals the other day, it's just like, come on, it's Juan Soto, Josh Bell, and a bunch of AAA guys. Come on, Noels. Like, that's what we needed. But that's the game we got the I think that was the granny, the walk-off granny from Brad Miller. I think that was the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure exactly what it was. It was like, he wasn't great, but it was, they rallied that game. I don't think that was that game, though, because that game was like 7-0. I don't think Nola was that bad, whatever start you were talking about. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That Miller game was the 7-0 game that started this whole thing. I know they wind up, stubbing their toe against the Pirates on Friday, Saturday, but that last week before that Pirates series, 7-0. That's one of those games that could turn your season around. You know what I mean? Turn your season.
So that's the 11-8 game. That.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So we got the Dodgers coming up. Noah Scherzer on the mound Tuesday. Do they keep it alive? Do they get it done, Sweeps?
Man, I mean, listen, it's the right time. They surely know all about Max. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
as much as we know how great he is. So I'm not going to sit here and throw an exclamation point on it and say, Yes, they're going to hammer. They're going to light his ass up, and they're going to make both eyes, the same after they're done. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go that far, but they surely have seen him enough, and that doesn't, necessarily bode well. You know what I mean? It, continue to be a nightmare. It's surely not fun, facing a guy that's, fantastic all the time. I mean, it's a lot of issues, but if you're a guy that, sees him well and has some success, you're hoping for that. But I surely, after winning 8 in a row, it's going to be a dogfight. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it continues. All right. But I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
Unless Knowles doesn't show up, and he's just, absolutely rolling breaking balls up, just flipping breaking balls up there and aren't doing shit. You know what I mean? Then it could get ugly. You never know. But I expect a good game Tuesday to start this thing off, and I like our matchup on Wednesday. Yeah. And then Thursday we'll see. You know what I mean? Like we know Urias is talented, but he doesn't really fear me. He doesn't scare me. And if it is Ranger, I think Ranger going to give you 4 good ones, and then it's then it's a piecemeal. Yeah. So at that point, you hope maybe if you don't have if you didn't take the first 2, or if you were at if you're at a 1-1 going into Thursday, you flip a coin and you take your chance there. You try to win a series. You know what I mean? So Tuesday's huge. I like our Wednesday matchup though. So if they find a way, to get it done on Tuesday, advantage Phillies. Going into the next 4.
Yeah, and I think what is so huge about this upcoming series, not even just the series itself, because that's huge in itself, but the way they're playing, they've brought the fan back. Right, coming out of when they started fans, there was 10, 12,000 people really there, and then we had 40K today.
I was gonna say 37 Saturday,
37 last night, 39 tonight, today. That place is electric, and you heard Jimmy Rollins talking about it. Jimmy Rollins, by the way, is phenomenal in the booth.
Yeah, he does a good job.
He did a really good job, but you heard him talking about it all weekend on how this atmosphere with this city and this fan base is second to none when they're playing well.
I know, and it should never be. That's the thing that drives you fucking crazy, though. You know what I mean? It should never be that far off, though. You know what I mean? And the dog days of August, like who wants to go watch if your team is a tomato can? I get it.
Yeah.
But it should never be that far off, to your point. You know what I mean? Like where you were saying, I know it just started back up. You know what I mean? But it should never be 39, 40, and like 15. It should always be, hey, if they're not playing well, it should still be, 30, 28, 30. And then when the place is rocking, it should be over 40. You know what I mean? And that's the only thing is, that gets you, a little bit upset from that standpoint. You know what I mean? Where it's like, man, but I get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not fun if you're not, if you have no chance. And 2 months ago they were unwatchable. You know what I mean? Yeah. So why the fuck when you want to go out and pay, $14 for a beer, $10 for a cotton candy, to watch? I'm sure
parking's over 25 by now.
Yeah, to watch a team roll over, or blow a lead in the fucking ninth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would totally understand it. You just, you would just like to see some more, stay engaged until they're mathematically out. You know what I mean? Like, as much as we get annoyed and we tell the truth and listen, you can play back the tape. You know what I mean? Like when they're not playing well, we crush them. You know what I mean? Like there is no sugarcoat. You know what I mean? And when they're rolling, hey, listen, we're gonna give them all the props in the world. And we're gonna talk and we're gonna sing their praises. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's the way it was for me in Florida, right? Because throughout the whole time they're playing like shit. I'm in Florida, and I'm like, I could watch every game, but why am I going to go through the find streams and do all this? They're playing like shit. But now that I'm home, they're playing great. It's like just hey, hit the last button. You're just watching them. Like, let's go. Jimmy says Christopher Sanchez started the walk-off grand salami game. Only know that because I had to suffer through those first few innings at that ballpark. That's right. Yeah, and that was what Sweep said. That was like the 7-0 game. 11-8 was the walk-off. And then they go to Pittsburgh and lose 2 in a row, which just was infuriating. Frank, Tommy's on vacation. Wilson sipping on margaritas with his pinky out.
Just the two of us.
We can make it if we try.
Just the two of us. Me and Greg.
You and I.
Let's go.
What up, Molly? Red Sand. Damn, Sweeps. Making me want an ice cold beer to go with this joint. Cheers it up, brother. Miller Brewing Company. Would you like to sponsor us? Hey!
You gotta blow that shit out, Red Sand.
Yeah, I do. I do think they keep it rolling, Sweeps. I think they're playing really well right now. The good thing, and the reason why I say yes is because Noah's at home, right? Noah's pitching at home. He's not pitching on the road. If we were going to LA, I'd probably have a different thought.
Yeah, and they're coming.
But Noah's at home. We know he can pitch well at home, and I'm hoping that this performance Tuesday starts rolling, as I mentioned earlier, starts rolling into something more for Aaron. Because his next start's going to be also at home against Cincinnati on Sunday after Tuesday. So how can we get Aaron Nola rolling? Let's get him 2 starts in a row at home, and let's get him rolling, right? Give me 6-7 innings, 1-2 runs. Love nothing, but 6-7 innings, 2 runs or less. Let's go, right? The way our offense is swinging it right now, we should be able to be okay with that. Like, that should be enough.
Now you're spot on. I mean, and especially they're coming cross country. I understand it's not, the NFL. This isn't a 1:00 start, you know, for the West Coast team, and and we got our betting trends going on. But there's still, obviously tomorrow's an off day, but still got to travel cross country. It's August. Bodies are beat up. They got a ton of guys, so it shouldn't matter to them. I mean, are they good enough? I mean, they got enough all-stars to shake a stick at. You know what I mean? So, we'll see. This is, like I said, this is a huge measuring stick. They are where they are. The Giants, ran away in the beginning and were able to, keep that on cruise control, keep them at an arm's length. And the Dodgers made, unbelievable moves. Talk about sitting on your hands.
Yeah.
No thanks. You know what I mean? So as much as it drives us crazy and we feel like, the league might be catering to the Dodgers, to keep them relevant. I don't know. It is what it is. It just, they absolutely, put a stamp on it that they're going for the repeat. You know what I mean? So, and Trey Turner's, playing a little bit, playing second base and making that transition, which we knew he would. He's a great athlete, and we'll see.
Yeah, Jason, I hope we can take 2 out of 3. I think based off the pitching matchups, I think 2 out of 3 is possible, and they're playing well enough, so I don't see why not. The overrated chants are definitely not there anymore. You're absolutely right for Bryce. I mean, he is playing right now. He's swinging it really well. He's seeing the ball really well. The power numbers are starting to come. We just wish there was a couple guys on base for him every once in a while. Because it is funny watching solos, right? He's now got 20 homers, but he's only got 45 RBIs. And that's concerning, but it's also not necessarily his fault if guys aren't on in front of him. But he's swinging the bat well. He's batting over 300. I think he's got 25 doubles, 26 doubles. Yeah. He's doing everything that we asked of him. Yeah. And he's coming up at big times when he's needed it.
Absolutely, dude. That's what we do. We, like I said, as far as the chance, that's just, for whoever just, is not paying attention, who doesn't know the game, you know what I mean? Like, we'll get on them, and I'll be the first guy to crush them, you know what I mean? Like, we keep it real with, crush anybody, you know what I mean? Like, but like you said, Steve Phillips, threw that stat out the other day that we were, that me and you heard on the air. And we were like, God damn, that's crazy. And it, I mean, you see, obviously you just didn't know you didn't know the lengths of it, you
didn't know how bad it was.
You didn't know how extreme it was, you know what I mean? And, so you just say, listen, you got to be better than that. You got to drive in runs. And it's like, hey man, that's for them, that's for Joe. That's where I would get on Joe more about than I would ever get on Bryce about, you know what I mean? Like he's only playing the cards he's dealt, you know what I mean? Well, as a manager, that's when you got, especially in an analytics world, somebody's feeding you those stats all the time. Maybe not to the lengths that Steve Phillips went to because he wanted to decide to figure this out. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate you. You know what I mean? Like, that was great. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's so many stats and so many analytics going on that you have to imagine that at some point stuff like that has crossed Joe's desk, you know what I mean? And then I don't know. I understand you want to get a guy more at bats. I understand hitting in the top 3, you know what I mean? And I get that, you know what I mean? But there might have been a time when it was time to stick him in the 5 hole, you know what I mean? Right. Like, and just to see if anybody in front of him did something. And you get him some guys, get some more stake opportunities. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's neither here nor there. You know what I mean? That's over with now. It's how you go forward from here. You know what I mean? And Gene has been an absolute monster this month. You know what I mean? And he's been, and I get on him all the time because he looks like he's lazy, he looks disinterested. You know what I mean? But he's been fantastic. And he's kind of been setting the table, you know what I mean? And if he's not going yard himself, he's getting on and he's, and that's where, Bryce is getting some more RBI opportunities because of some guys in front of him playing better, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're right. It comes down to it. It's almost like you could also potentially do what the Angels used to do with Trouty and lead him off. Like, fine, if you're going to hit a solo, at least lead the game off with a solo. Get us 1-0, right? Yeah. But then you're potentially coming up the next time with guys on, right? And you're right. It's not nothing Bryce is doing anything wrong. Yesterday, if Gene gets that bunt down after a Dubal's double, that fly ball to right's an RBI, right? That's a sac fly. But Gene just doesn't, he didn't get it down. And that happens. But you're right. He has been monstrous in Segura, right? He's just been super steady, and he's just been the machine that we all knew he was. And especially now that he's playing second base, and not that he wasn't last year, but now that he's playing second base, it's like he's more relaxed, and he's back to the hitting machine that we all knew he was until he came here and struggled.
Absolutely. And we talked about earlier, and that's the other, when everybody around you is playing well and finds a way to step up, and there's a different hero. We talked about this last week or last 2 weeks. When there's a different hero every night, that's what makes great teams. And that's the teams that find a way, right, to win in the playoffs or get to the playoffs, win in the playoffs, and eventually win championships is when other guys continue to step up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Superstars are superstars. Those role guys or those guys that have less, that aren't quite, a Bryce Harper. You know what I mean? The other night, it's the right baseball move. You know what I mean? People want to say, Dave Martinez, you walk Bryce Harper. No shit. That's the right fucking move. And I made him pay with a 2-run double. And the rest was history, so if the guys behind them can protect them, if the guys in front of them can get on and the guys behind them can protect them, look out. And that's the offense that everybody thought coming in the season they could be. And that's where we're at right now. So that's all you can ask for as a fan. You know what I mean? I didn't think they were going to win 95 games. No, but now if they played just even half, even a third of what they're playing now early in the season, then maybe there's some real, that maybe that was realistic,
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And that happened today, right? Gene went yard, Bryce struck out, and then JT behind him went yard. And Bryce struck out, and it wasn't like that they walked him, they didn't want to pitch to him, but those guys behind him, the pitch selection to Bryce is going to start changing sooner or later.
Yeah.
Right. He's going to start seeing a lot more fastballs in the zone as opposed to sitting there on the corners, because you're right. They don't want to go after Reese. They don't want to have to pitch to JT almost more than they don't want to pitch to Bryce. Yeah. So JT hit his home run today was monstrous for the game, but also because after it was Bryce.
Yeah. I mean, there's no, like I said, there's going to be a time when there's no place to put him. Mm-hmm. Or the guys behind him are so hot that he's going to have to see fastballs. He's going to have to see strikes.
Yes,
but you don't have to see fastballs, but you're going to have to. Guys are going to have to. They're going to have to roll up breaking balls that aren't as tight because hey, listen, we got the guys behind him are doing just as much damage. You know what I mean? So now we got to pitch him, even though we want to pitch him carefully. We still got to find a way to pound the zone and make him earn it. You know, and that's what's gonna. You know, that's what's gonna. I can't wait to see that unfold. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the next 2 months. You know.
Red saying about that, I think we should hit cleanup. Yep, Sweeps was talking about 5-hole cleanup. Yeah, I mean, at some point, something's got to change. But to Jimmy's point, when everyone is healthy, including Galvis, Hoskin, Kutch, Didi, what are we thinking the lineup going to be? For me personally, I think Galvis is just a every once in a while. I know Baum has been absolutely atrocious, but I think Galvis is going to be a point to when Gibson's starting, Galvis plays. You know what I mean? Like when you have a guy, it's a big contact guy, Gibson, Ranger. I think those are the games where Galvis plays. When Wheeler's pitching, Baum doesn't see much action.
Has Freddie played yet?
No, he's still injured.
Okay, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
I know I haven't seen him, but I haven't watched every inning like I'd like to. You know what I mean?
No, he's still injured, and it is atrocious over at third base. It's bad because, you know, it's like we talked about all the time with Alec, right? If you're not going to field it, at least hit.
Yep.
And he's gotten better. He's been hitting better. But I think Boa and I'm sure other guys have said it as well. It's almost like he's locked his front hip inside and trying to go to right field too much, as opposed to, you know, all right, that's cool to think, but when you're 2-0, I don't want you going to right field. I want you jacking the ball.
Yeah, no, let it eat. I mean, you get in hitters count. We teach kids at every level, you know what I mean? From 9 years old, you know what I mean? It's no comparison. You know, 9, 10, all the way to the big leagues, you know, like we work as hitters to get in hitters counts, all right, to get in cripple counts. Let it eat. That's when you can let it eat. Like you can look in one spot when you get in a cripple count and you don't have to fire. You don't have to. Hey, miss, I'm looking in one spot. Look, in, Alec. I love the fact that you spray the ball, you know, you can spray the ball around the field, but you know, I want some pull homers, right? When I want you to get ahead in the count. I want
especially
you to
at CBP.
I want you to look middle in, and I want you to let it eat off the left field wall. Let's go.
Yeah, Bryce, it was good seeing the old guys. Brought back some memories, and thankfully the current guys are playing good enough to equal those memories. You know, I don't know if I'd bring Galvis to Ilyava, bring Galvis to defense replaces for Didi. I don't think it's Didi, it's Baum. I you know, as much as I know Sweeps ripped Didi last week, and thank you, Sweeps. Because Didi was hot for a couple games.
Yeah, I hear you, but Greg's right. You know what I mean? But both guys are right. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Didi looked better this week. You know, and we kid around in our text threads. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna light you up, and then you know, maybe hey, listen, we hope you keep listening to the show.
Yeah, keep tuning in.
It lights the fire. You know what I mean? But you know, last week Didi was swinging underwater. Right, he was, you know, he was, you know, he couldn't get the balls. He you know, he looks terrible on defense. You know, and obviously he had a good week this week swinging the bat. And you know, I still think, you know, he's not a defensive liability, but I still think he's a step slow at short. Absolutely. Yeah. So I have no problem with Freddie when healthy running out there. But to Greg's point, you know, the first guy you want to get out of there defensively is Baum. You know what I mean?
Because you're also thinking, too, Didi's a veteran, right? So I want Didi's bat in there longer, right? Regardless of – because you're absolutely right? He's slow under everything, but Baum's the puppy right now who's struggling. I'm going to take my chances with Didi in the big spot more than Baum.
Yeah, I'm talking about like, you know, 6 outs, maybe 3 outs, 6 outs.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, something that where maybe you just made the last out and you make the
if you're double switching and it's him,
make the air quote double switch. You know, everybody loves. You know, and I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying, if you don't want to have the double, if you don't want to have the DH, you know, yawn. All right, just I'm tired of pitchers hitting, but whatever.
Yeah,
your opinion. Then let me see some double switches then.
Yeah. So my lineup, if everyone's healthy, is Kutch 1, Mean Gene 2, Bryce 3, JT. It don't matter. You don't need that. I was gonna go Didi Reese, but I'm gonna go Reese Didi at 6. and then Bomber, and then my center fielder. Or I'm sorry, Reese, Odubel, Bomber, 8, and then pitcher. If it was regular baseball and you didn't have the 3-batter rule, I probably would have thrown Didi in between JT and Reese, and went with Bryce, JT, Didi, Reese went lefty righty. But with the 3-batter rule, that doesn't necessarily matter.
Yeah. Yep.
That rule killed us last night because the loser had to stay.
It was incredible. You know what I mean? Like it really was. It was just woo.
And I'm driving home. I'm like, it's 5-0. I sent the audio like, here we go. We're 7 in a row. And then back to back. I'm like, oh my God, I struck again. I struck again.
Back to back. And then Pilar hit a laser single. So I mean, 4 straight hits and a good job by Kennedy.
Yeah.
And JT to recognize, listen, you know what I mean? Like, you saw, a daddy hack by Alonso to start things off, you know what I mean? And he's a home run derby guy. That's about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's what Pete is, you know what I mean? So Mets fans can enjoy him, watching him and, at the All-Star break, every year and hit his BP homers. And, he'll run into 35 homers. Yippee. He's going to hit 210 and strike out 200 times too. And he's got, that's what Kennedy and JT realized, and they stayed up and went 3 fastballs up, and they weren't going to get cute, and they wound up doing the same thing, with the next guy, JD
Davis.
JD Davis, yeah. So, that was a good job by them, and it just goes to show you that when guys aren't swinging well, when guys aren't seeing the ball well, you continue to pound them and you continue to find those holes and you can exploit them. You know what I mean? Because we're talking about he was only throwing 94. You know what I mean?
Smitty was talking about that today.
Yeah, like I don't want to sneeze at that. You know what I mean? Like when we were growing up, I mean that's octane. You know what I mean? Like 94. Okay, excuse me. I gotta loosen my collar here. I gotta loosen my bow tie. This guy's got a little hair in his ass. Nowadays, it's 98 to 102. You know what I mean? 94. It's like, oh, you're pitching up at 94. You're playing with fire there, Mr. Kennedy, and
we're blowing it by guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't even close. You know what I mean? So a good job to him. But if obviously, when you get into an 8-game winning streak, there's no reason to start picking apart things, you know what I mean? And because we're very, you're very excited and you're happy and they're playing well, but it's still the bullpen is still concerning to me. It really
absolutely
is. Especially you took Ranger out of there and you're trying to plug the hole in the starting in a starter's void, and we understand that, and we're totally behind that. You know what I mean? But that weakens your pen. You know what I mean? And for people that thought Kennedy's the answer, he might be. You know what I mean? Like he might get you to the finish line. You know what I mean? Like he did a good job in Texas. With no fans.
So what's that worth?
No pennant race and nobody there watching and no pressure. He did a good job there. So these next 2 months are gonna test him too. You know what I mean? Because he hasn't been. He surely hasn't thrown a 1-2-3. Hasn't had a 1-2-3 outing since he got here. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
Yesterday I was gonna say scoreless, but he got out of it.
Yeah. So big week coming up. We got Dodgers, Reds for the fight-ins. 8 in a row, 8 of 10. Jason, we were 4.5 last week. Can you believe that? Now 2 up. That's raking. Absolutely, they've been on fire. Love seeing it. Hopefully, we continue to take. I'll be happy with 2 out of 3. I'll be happy with 2.
It was 4.5. Sorry, Greg. Sunday it was 4.5.
Yeah,
4.5. Jason on Sunday.
Insane. Let's switch over real quick to some football news. Some big news coming out of your Miami Dolphins. There, Sweepsy.
Yeah, it was a must. You know what I mean? Like you said, you got to stop the culture of, hey, I'm not happy. Fuck you, trade me. You know what I mean? You got to stop that stuff. You know what I mean? So really, with 4 years left on his contract, they could have just told him to eat shit. You know what I mean? But you want your best players happy and playing well, and sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to do some renegotiating, restructuring, and and you got to get things done, and the dude's a ball hawk, the dude's a top corner in the league. So it was a must, I mean, as much as, and like I said, if you're not going to, if you weren't going to extend them and you weren't going to fix that, you don't trade them. I just tell them, you tell them, stop crying and shut the hell up, because you're trying to change a culture. You know what I mean? Because same thing like Minkah. You know what I mean? When they were going in a different direction. I get that. You know what I mean? So not piling on Minkah. You know what I mean? They got a ton of stuff in return for him, and they were able to build that draft capital. And the verdict's still out on all these draft picks they were able to pile up. You know what I mean? We'll see how this goes. But they're going in the right direction. I know people aren't high on them, you know what I mean? And they don't have to be. I'm not, they're not going to win the Super Bowl, you know what I mean? But they're going in the right direction. And the key for them is, not to get off topic, is under center. And I'm not happy about that. And
it is on topic because it's the same thing up here.
That's why I'm not sold on him, you know what I mean? Even though I'm a fan, I just, until he shows me something and shows me he's either healthy enough to play in the National Football League, not the junior NFL, which is the SEC, and I get it. You know what I mean? The SEC is fantastic. You know what I mean? But this is the NFL, which it stands for not for long.
Yeah.
If you can't perform, or you're not healthy and you're not available, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm at on that. You know what I mean? But not to get off topic, yes, but a great job by them, realizing that Brian Flores is a defensive guy.
Yep.
Love what he's doing, and he knew that, hey, listen, this is one of my guys. This is one of my pillars on defense. We got to have him on the back end if we want to try to go where we want to go.
Yeah, for sure. And you brought up Minkah, and you're right. They got a haul for Minkah. They obviously weren't getting a haul for Xavier Howard, even if they tried to, because they would have already traded him if they were getting that haul.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? And it's crazy, though, that the sports world and the world in general that we're living in, that a guy with 4 years left on his deal wants to renegotiate. Then why'd you negotiate that in the first place? Like, where was it? But yeah, I mean, they weren't getting – go ahead.
No, you're right. That's where it becomes a stalemate, because you have old school guys like us that have that mentality, and then some guys, with the same mentality as us, won't get off it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're bigger dinosaurs than us, and they say, "Hey, listen, fuck you. We're not getting off that. You go honor your shit." And I'm still a loyal guy, and I'm a guy that I believe in honoring your contract. You know what I mean? But if you played above it, and you saw that, not to change sports, but you saw that with a guy like Albert Pujols, yeah, he dropped, played 11 years, like a rookie contract. You know what I mean? Like, not really, but he played like 11 years, one of the best 11-year stretches in Major League Baseball history.
For peanuts.
For peanuts. You know what I mean? So, so you feel sorry for guys like that, not to compare Howard to Pujols. Just saying, you understand it. There's times when, hey, listen, it's time when you got to do it. And I think the off season is the time to do that. Not necessarily right before training camp, and not, all that stuff. I like to handle things behind closed doors, and I would like to see it happen like that, as the way it was folding, the way it unfolded. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, they got it done, and that's really all you can ask for as a fan, as a teammate, and as an organization.
John Danza, congrats to your team on stepping up. Our team is a joke and a laughingstock. Signed, a Mets fan. Appreciate you checking in. Were you part of that? I know there was a couple sections in upper deck and left field with some Mets fans. John, were you one of those? Did you travel down this weekend?
They had a good showing, man. They had a good showing.
They did a couple sections taking over. They didn't watch a good baseball team though, and yeah, I mean it sucks. I mean, you guys made some moves at the deadline, and you thought that was going to be enough, and looks like unfortunately though it just wasn't going to be enough.
Well, like you said, I really think they made one. I mean, not without deep diving.
Yeah,
I don't really give a shit about the Mets. I really feel like
I thought they made more than one.
Yeah, no,
definitely biased.
Saying it feels like they just made one.
Yeah,
and I can tell you, from a guy looking on the outside in, how the fuck you can have Edwin Diaz as your closer? You know what I mean? And feel comfortable with that as a first place team. You know what I mean? Like, it's beyond me.
Pop up.
Oh my
yeah.
God. I mean,
430 foot.
sent that right to you. Like, is this guy fucking serious? You know what I mean? The baseballer meme. You owe us one right there.
Yeah.
We were on that right as it happened. Can of corn.
But yeah, apparently it wasn't a good week of practice for the Eagles. Doesn't shock me at all. You know, I'm not, just like, no, I had better things to do with my time and money. But don't worry, John. I was there a couple weeks ago with our team, so I know how you feel.
Hey, hang in there, Johnny. Appreciate you checking in, brother.
Yeah, definitely. I hope it doesn't turn around for you this year, because that would then be at the cost of us.
Yeah,
but no, I mean, you're right though. What?
I said muck the fets. Yeah.
There is nothing worse than watching a bad baseball team. We were there earlier this year where they were unwatchable.
Yep.
So for that, I can definitely attest to. Jason, would you trade a number one cornerback from Jacksonville? Who is it, Jason? Do you know off the top of your head?
God,
Let me guess. Sidney Jones?
Who is there nowadays?
I'm pulling it up right now. Who you is it a Boye?
I figured you were. Yes, should be.
TJ McDark Knight. I had a great day. I went to the game, and then I made it to the practice. How did they look at practice today? I know they were struggling all week. Did you talk about C.J. Henderson or Shaquille Griffin? C.J. Henderson, that's the kid from Florida, isn't it?
Yeah, he just got picked a year ago, right?
Yeah, 2020 round one.
Yep. Yeah, he was 9th overall, I think, last year.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving me C.J. Henderson. I'll take him. I don't know that they do that, though, right? So what was it?
Yeah.
Number one quarterback for Ertz and a pick. Yeah. At this point right now, Jason, I'm going to roll into, unless someone bowls me over with a high pick for Ertz, or like if this trade comes through, right, and it is truly the number one for Ertz and a fourth, then yeah, I'm in. But at this point, I'm looking to build with Ertz, right? I kind of, I mentioned it even before when the offseason just started, and I'm still there now. I want to build around Ertz. Ertz had a bad year, but Ertz has been such a good pro that he's not going to have multiple bad years in a row. And you look on the other side, the other tight end, there's injury concerns there. The guy folded like a sack of potatoes when he got caught in the jaw, at the nightclub. So there's injury concerns with Goddard. There isn't really with Ertz. Ertz has been very durable except for this past year.
Yes, I think. I know what you're saying. You feel like you should be able to stand a little more upright, but
yes. So I'm not trying to get rid of Ertz at this point. If it had happened, cool. I'm looking to stick with him and build around him. The more weapons that I can get, reliable weapons that I can give to Jalen, because I still think Jalen is our concern. Defense looked good. Watson was killing it. Deshaun? Quez Watkins said, Chip Henderson, C.J. Henderson. Yeah, I mean, if that's a realistic deal, I'm in. Because he's still on his rookie contract. Like, heck yeah. Watkins was killing it. I mean, that's good. I mean, you're going to need depth. Who knows what, Devontae's hurt. Not that it's an issue, but he's hurt right now. So, yeah, I'm sure Quez is is getting some extra time and stuff like that. And he has a skill set, right? He's a burner. Yeah. He's a speed guy, so he's got a skill set. So I'm hoping that he can, be a part of that group. But, as a fifth round, no, I think he was just 7th round, 6th round pick. I don't expect a lot out of him. So it's just all a matter of what really comes to fruition. I'm just, not to get over whatever about practice, but when the concerns
we talk about practice,
but when the concerns are the same concerns that you have for the quarterback that you've had the whole time, might get a little concerning. But it's still his training camp, so we still haven't played a game yet. I don't even know when their first game is. First preseason game. Let's see here. The 12th, Thursday. against the Steelers. So we'll see. Again, I'm not taking stock in the preseason game 1, but it will be nice to see the guys out on the field, though. Sweeps, any thoughts on the Sixers free agent moves? Are you a fan of Drummond?
Yeah. I mean, well, I wouldn't say a fan. Like, you know, I mean, like, you know.
Well, no, but the fan of the move.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not getting a T-shirt or anything like that. You know what I mean? But
I already got my jersey on order.
But you know how I felt about Dwight. Like, he didn't move the needle for me, and he didn't give me bad minutes and stuff like that. I'm not, you know, going to kill, you know, what he gave us last year, you know what I mean? But I'm just not, you know, I'm not a Dwight guy, and I'm not saying, you know, that I'm.
Good night, John. Thank you for chiming in.
I'm not necessarily saying I'm a Drummond guy either, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? I think he takes a little more pride on the, on the rebounding end, you know what I mean? At least on the defensive end, I think, you know what I mean? Where, you know, maybe young Dwight, maybe gave you a little more,
right?
The block shots and the athleticism when he was younger, you know what I mean? But, you know, maybe Drumstick brings a little toughness on that end for us, you know what I mean? And, you know, and if Joe can stay healthy, we don't need him to, you know, to play much more than that, you know what I mean? Just to get, but yeah, I'm okay with.
What up, Todd?
I like Drummond. I believe that's an upgrade from Dwight. From Dwight, so I'm okay with that. You know what I mean, for what we could have done, and who knows if it's done yet. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. We understand everything's still clamoring and stuff like that, but you know, I really don't want to give away Ben. You know what I mean. So as much as he drove us crazy, the last image in our eyes, and the last thing we watched. You know what I mean? That night, you know, I would have gave him away, you know, to a YMCA team. You know what I mean? Like, hey, give me a couple basketballs and you know, and some gym time, and you can have Ben Simmons. You know what I mean? That's how pissed off we were. You know what I mean? Then you step back and you breathe a little bit, and you let things settle in a little bit, and you rethink things. Mm-hmm. And I'm still fucking pissed at him, and is he a regular season guy? Is he ever going to be a killer? Is he ever going to take that next step? I don't know. I really don't. You know what I mean?
Ted?
If we get a chance to get fucking Lillard, sign me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm certainly not going to fucking trade him for fucking Andrew Wiggins and something. You know, no thanks. No thanks for any of that fucking garbage bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, we'll stand pat. And we'll end up as the 1 or 2 or 3 seed, and if we get knocked out in the second round again, all right, you know, fool me once, you know, shame on me, you know, shame on you. Fool me 5 years in a row,
shame on me. It's refreshing to hear you say that, because as we were singing earlier, it might just the two of us. We might be the only ones in the city that still want the guy, and I'm completely on board with everything you said. I've been saying the same thing even since that day, right? You know, like, I'm not giving him up for anything less than Dame Lillard. If it's Dame, I'm good. But James Wiseman, Andrew Wiggins, whoever else doesn't do it for me. It's not worth it. It's not. And so I'm in it. I completely agree. I'm glad you brought it up. I do agree also, Drummond, he's an upgrade over Dwight. Dwight was good in the locker room, but he was a clown on the floor. Is waiting on Dame to decide. Yeah, Jason, it's going to be tough to see who's included in that. I would think that potentially Matisse might be if they don't want Maxey or if they want both. I do like also Niang, George Niang. I think he's an upgrade over Mike Scott. And I think he plays more than Mike Scott. But I think with the limited John Danzo, one last thing to say, much respect to your team. A blank Ed Luz Diaz is the biggest joke of the team. Good night, gentlemen. Good night, John. Thanks, brother. But yes, Simmons can't come back. I'll give up I'll give him up for a protein bar, Kid Savage. I understand the sentiment. I truly do. I get it. And I'm not saying you're wrong. But Daryl Morey isn't a guy that's going to openly lose on a trade, right? He's going to know what he wants, and he's going to know what he's owed. And I think for him to shoot for the moon for some of these deals, he damn right should. And then you get back real offers. And I don't think we've had a real offer yet. So we'll see. I'm sure a lot of the Dame sweepstakes were held up because he was over in Tokyo. But he found a way to they found a way to win the gold, and he's now on his way back. So as they say, things could get interesting.
Yeah, things could heat up. Pove on the stove could heat up.
Yeah, Mike Scott is done. Yeah, I mean, he was done. You know, he did what he had to do for us. I know early in the year last year, he played a lot injured because he had to, because we didn't have any guys. So, you know, no disrespect to Mike, but he played his role out. He's done. Yeah,
I mean, I'd have to look at Georgie. You know, I know he hadn't done anything really in the NBA, but you know, I loved him at Iowa State.
Yeah,
you know, he's a guy that can stretch it a little bit and fill it up. You know, if it's still in there, you know what I mean. So it costs nothing. It's a fucking freebie DB. Let's see if he can, you know, give us some production, you know, off the bench, which our bench has been atrocious for 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, you know, call it is what it is. You know, call it what you may. You know what I mean? As much as we thought, oh, we got George Hill, and we got, you know, we got this young guy, and, and we got Matisse, and you know, and Maxie, and all this.
Still
stuff.
second round exit.
Yeah, Ben still found a way to suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think
turn too. You know.
Yeah. I think Nanger, you know, sits there in a corner, waits for Ben, sit there. Hey, Jack City, let's go. I'm ready, Ben. Hit me. And we know Ben can do that, right? Especially in the regular season. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, Dave's back now, so I'm sure things might heat up. We'll probably hear some rumors, but I'm sure Daryl's got the pay. You know, got the what was the last Sixers bench that was actually great? Great question.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably have to go back to what was that, the 01? Because it was Iverson and then 10 guys.
Aaron McKee and those guys.
Yeah, you had Aaron McKee, George Lynch. No, Georgie started. Aaron
McKee, and
so you went Mutombo. You went.
The guy looked like Seal. The guy looked like
Tyrone Hill.
Yes. T. Hill off the bench.
No, he was a starter next to Mutombo.
T. Wow.
Yeah, T. Hill. So it was Mutombo. Let's pull up this roster. Now we got it.
Yeah, Kid Savage, love where your head's at, buddy.
Yes, let's go. Because your starters were. It was Allen, Eric Snow. And then it was George Hill, Tony Hill, or Tyrone Hill. No, George Lynch. I'm sorry. George Lynch, Tyrone Hill, and Dikembe Mutombo. So they also had – so you had Pepe Sanchez. Oh, I love me some Pepe.
Temple's own Pepe?
Temple's own Pepe.
That
had an interesting roster. You had Raja Bell, young Rodney Buford, Matt Geiger, Jermaine Jones, Tony Kukoc. Tony Kukoc might have started the 3 at that one. George Lynch, Todd McCullough, Vernon Waxwell, Aaron McKee, Rashawn McLeod, Nazi Muhammad, Kevin Ollie. There's no wonder this team went to the finals because we were stacked.
And won game 1.
Step over.
Oh, my goodness gracious. So I don't know if that really answered your question, Kid Savage, but yeah, I don't know. That's a
it was Snow, Iverson, Lynch, Hill, Mutombo. So yeah, we had those. Dude, that was some good years. Oh, Pepe, good old Pepe. That was his rookie year. Out of Temple, so he didn't play a whole lot.
anytime you had Allen, like you had a chance. You know what I mean? I don't care all the disrespect he gets and all that fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? From either people outside the tri-state area, you're out of your fucking mind, man. That fucking guy played his ass off every fucking night, man.
Yeah.
Fucking love me some AI.
That was Rajah Bell's rookie year. So, so the guys who coming off the bench, so Allen obviously led in minutes. Then Theo was second. Eric Snow, Dikembe, George Lynch, McKee, Hill, Kukoc, Vernon Maxwell, Geiger, McLeod, and Ollie all played 15 minutes or more per game. So that's probably the best bench that we've had. All right, sweeps. Crumb of the week. What you got? You got one?
I thought I did. I gotta start writing these the fuck down. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, you get to Sunday and I'm like, shit, I had it.
And then you think we're not doing a show, and you're like, all right, cool. Don't worry about it. You can sip on some margaritas.
Yeah, I guess yeah, exactly. I always, I should always write it down because I'm sure there's somebody more warranted than this. But I will probably, even though it's a rumor, I'll probably settle on, the Eagle fans or just the people, that are clamoring for the Deshaun Watson, this year. You know what I mean? And Deshaun Watson, tremendous talent, right? Whether you're talking about innocent until proven guilty, I'm not going to get into all that, you know what I mean? But 28 cases. We're not talking about one or two. Yeah. We're talking about 28 cases. You understand? So, there ain't, this. I don't know how much he's going to get suspended this year. I don't know. You drafted a guy in the second round, whether he's your guy or not, whether you believe in him. I'm not a huge guy, Hurts guy. But at some point, you're going to have to let the dude at least play a little bit and see what he's got. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to a guy that's going to be a publicity nightmare. You know what I mean? You had a guy, you saw the outrage. It's 2021. You saw the outrage with Michael Vick. All right. And listen, everybody loves their pets. Everybody, not condoning, dog fighting and what he did. You know what I mean? But there's a guy that served his time. You know what I mean? Like there's a guy that served his time and then people still wanted to be outside picketing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're talking about now you want to bring in a guy that place will have 5,000 women out front of the stadium every day. You know what I mean? And you could say you don't care, whatever it happens. I'm just going to tell you I'm saying from an Eagle standpoint. And once again, as a fan, that doesn't have to bother you. That doesn't have to concern you. You know what I mean? But from an Eagle standpoint, that's something that they have to wrap their head around. You know what I mean? So forget about the fact that you want to give Hurts, you were expecting to give Hurts a chance to show you what he can do. Now you're talking about this, and listen, it might be the best time to get a guy like that because maybe the Texans are just trying to get rid of him and get what they can for him because they know that the other shoe is about to drop. I don't know, you know what I mean? But it's just funny seeing it, like people screaming from the mountaintops and all this stuff, that like that's gonna necessarily take you over the edge. You know what I mean? I understand what he can do. We know that the on-field talent, you know what I mean? But if he's a piece of shit, whether it's true or not, there's some truth to it. I got news for you, people. You understand? So it might not be all truthful, and it might not be, but I got you news for you. Dude's a freak. Dude's a crumb. All right, yeah. He's got fucking crumb qualities, and there's some shit going on. All right, where there's smoke, there's a little bit of fire. It might not be a fucking inferno, but there's a little bit of fire where there's smoke. I got news for you. So careful what you wish for. That's all I would say. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, Eagle fans or anybody like that in the tri-state area. Just say, like, in general, that topic could be crumb-worthy right now, and just to see. Careful what you wish for. You might as well see what this, what your other dude can do, and see what kind of year you have, because you're really not ready to win right now. You know what I mean? I understand the division is always up for grabs, and rightfully so every year. You know what I mean? And that's all it takes to get you one home game. You know what I mean? But I think you would, I don't know if that one move, if like I said, if everything went away and you're just talking about play on the field, is that one move? Are they that one move away from winning the Super Bowl? Ask yourself that. Will that headache get you to the finish line? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that.
The headache, no. The talent, yes. Right? To your absolutely point.
There you go.
You put Deshaun Watson, the football player, behind center. This is a Super Bowl contender.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, no, I'm not
right.
Wrong.
Because I think that's our downfall. I think that's our issue.
Yeah, I got it.
But you're absolutely spot on. I am 100% into Deshaun Watson new Philly camp, but it's next year. It's not this year. Kid Savage sucks. I couldn't see us in the finals because I was one. That was a great year, Kid Savage. Well, y'all got the Birds record being this year. I say 9-8, 10-7. I got them with 6-7 wins. That's it. Sweepsy, what you got?
Yeah, I'm around the 9-win range. I think. You know what I mean? I obviously early on before some of the moves, in the last couple of weeks or the last month or whatever it was, they were, probably sitting around 4 or 5. You know what I mean? That's how. That's the way it was looking. You know what I mean? But I kind of did like some of the moves they made in the last month. They kind of addressed, some issues and some problems they had, and when you got this kind of division that I don't think anybody stands out. You know what I mean? Every year Dallas does. Dallas has more talent, all right, and Dallas should be head and shoulders above, everybody else in the division. But we know they're not, you know what I mean? Because Jerry's still there. He'll find a way to fuck it up, you know what I mean? And something will happen. And they're the Cowboys, you know what I mean? So, so anytime you have a chance to win the division, I mean, your division isn't great. You can pile up some of those wins, and then you win some games maybe you're not supposed to. And next thing you know, you end up with 9 wins. Where I was agreeing with you, a month ago, I had them at maybe 5 or 6. You know what I mean? I think they have done enough where they should get to maybe 9 or 10. You know what I mean? I think they could do enough. And it all depends, what number 2 does. It all depends what happens on their center. Really, I mean, they got weapons. If those guys stay healthy and the offensive line can keep him upright and he can make some plays. You never know. You know what I mean? But even though we don't think that's going to happen, we don't have huge confidence in him at the NFL level. You know what I mean? The guy's still got, the dude's, still an athletic monster and can make some plays with his legs and that can open up some stuff downfield to go with some of these weapons, that they got, where the guy was talking about earlier. Hey, Watkins looked good today, because that's a guy that can take the top off, you know what I mean? So all of a sudden you can make some plays with your legs. It softens up, the cover 2, and you may be able to take the top off, and you can get some plays like that. So, we will see. It's going to be interesting, to see how it shakes out. But, I still have them around 9 or 10. Worst case scenario in that 6-7 range, where you're at. You know what I mean? I think the ceiling is anywhere from 10, 11, 10 or 11, but I got them sitting around 9 myself.
Yeah. Jimmy thinks 9-10 wins. The team is filled with vets that want to prove something and a bunch of young talent that want to prove something as well. It's up to Jalen. Absolutely up to Jalen. Ted, he says, I got to ask you, what do you think about Coach Pop putting one of his young Spurs, Team USA? Did Keldon Johnson really deserve a spot on Team USA overall over the young stars like Zion and John Morant? Ted, I'll quote the movie.
Did those guys play? Did those guys want to play?
I don't know. I know Ja was butthurt about being overlooked.
Yeah.
And mentioned like, fine, don't ask me again. Like, cool. And, hey, that's just prerogative. But I'm gonna go back to a movie we were talking about in the back room, right? You look at Miracle. Yep. It doesn't matter. It's about fit more than it is about talent, right? The Team USA obviously lost a couple games in practice. So Pop had an idea. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time for a reason, right? So he had an idea of what was missing from that team. I don't think adding a guy like Zion or John Morant, talent-wise, yes, they're absolutely more talented than Keldon Johnson. But Keldon Johnson came in for a role. He came in for a specific purpose. So whether he deserved a spot on the Olympic team or not, he was part of the Olympic grouping, and he was part of the Olympic bubble that they were doing. They always go to these camps with 30, 40 guys to whittle down to the 15. So
No,
Was he most deserving? Probably not. But did he fill a role within that team that helped them win a gold medal? Yes.
No. Tremendously said on your part. You know what I mean? Because that's exactly how I feel. You know what I mean? And I think that's what great teams need. You know what I mean? Like, you got Durant, you got Lillard, you got Jason Tatum. You know what I mean? Like, how many superstars do you want?
Yeah.
You know, I always go back to and there's other examples throughout sports. You know what I mean? But like, to keep it current. You know what I mean? And you know how I feel about Ronald Torreyes is my guy. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I got that he's he needs to be starting and batting third. You know what I mean? But that's a guy that can play for me anytime. Everybody has different taste. Everybody has different things what they do as coaches. You know what I mean? That guy is my kind of guy. Right, that's a guy. That's a bootstraps guy. Mm-hmm. That's a guy who can play, a couple different positions. He plays hard. He shows up. You know what I mean? So that's just an example here. Not to take it away from the Olympic thing, but that's that's how I feel. You know what I mean? Yep. So to your point, you hit the nail on the head right there, buddy. It's just not. John Moran is awesome, and I don't think he's a bad teammate. I don't think he's a cancer. I don't think anything like that. You know what I mean? But there's just when you got so many personalities, there's only one basketball. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you've got to be able, other guys have to accept their roles. Could Ja have done that? I don't know. You know what I mean? And I don't know if Zion wanted to play. I don't know who didn't make it. You know what I mean? I didn't go that deep. I didn't deep dive enough. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. And it's absolutely true. Before I get my crumble, we get a couple more of these out. Dallas didn't fix their O-line. They went middle backer. Dallas is going to have problems. I don't disagree, absolutely. But that defense is stacked, though.
we know that, like, that's what I said. They're on paper, not necessarily on paper, but like they're always supposed to be, they're always a sexy pick. You know what I mean? Because it's Dallas, everything's larger than life in Texas, and Jerry Jones never shuts the fuck up. And as long as he's there, he's gonna continue. He's gonna find a way to fuck things up. And as Eagle fans, you should love that. You don't want Jerry to go nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Kid Savage besides QB because Hurts is an unknown. In my opinion, this roster talent is better than 2017. I don't entirely disagree. I do still think there's holes. But when your biggest concern is your quarterback, that's a big concern.
Sure.
I shine 101 if Jalen balls out. We win 13 games, possibly. If he plays well, absolutely, because he's the X factor, absolutely. Bryce 5-6. Brodo, what up, guys? What's more likely to happen? Harper wins MVP or Wheeler wins Cy Young? I think it's Wheeler. For me, it's Wheeler wins Cy Young because while Harper is playing at an MVP level, his power numbers and his production numbers aren't there to warrant an MVP. However, if he plays and he continues this stretch through August and through September and puts a monster close to the year, that absolutely changes. But I think that if that continues, those power and production numbers skyrocket.
Yeah, exactly. And if the voters, deep dive like they do sometimes in the Cy Young, when Felix Hernandez won it years ago, they didn't look at wins. He only had like 8 wins, but he had his strikeouts were through the roof, his whip, whatever. They went to the next categories and said, hey, this guy is elite. He just didn't get enough wins on the Mariners. You know what I mean? So if you look at it like that, you know what I mean? If they don't just look at the RBIs or a guy that hit 40 home runs, if you look at everything else and the Phillies wind up winning this division by 8 games and they land on the doorstep and they run away with this and he's a huge part of it, then absolutely he's in the conversation. That's all we asked for in the beginning of the year. And I think like Tommy alluded to early in the week, like with some injuries, that's opens the door as well. You know what I mean? Because if Tatis is healthy this whole time, he's probably the front runner. You know what I mean? And like depending on how they play how they finish up as a team. You know what I mean? So, and there's other guys too, but I think I kind of agree with you. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's that one guy on the hill that that's running away with it. You know what I mean? So I think both guys are in it. Yeah. I might lean towards Wheels as well, especially if he put together another 6 starts too. You know what I mean? If he goes, if he finds a way to piece together another 6 starts like he did today, and all of a sudden he ends up, at 14-7, with a 2.4 ERA and 250 strikeouts or whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
Numbers wind up shaking out to. Giddy up, Giddy up.
Yeah, and Ramon Carter, DeGrom win with his ERA under 1. Yeah, but now if he doesn't start for another month, he can't miss 2 months of the year and then win Cy Young.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, DeGrom is awesome. You know what I mean? But you should have to be on the field. You know what I mean? Like, I as much as he's the best, and you don't want to see him, and the guy's absolutely frightening from 60 feet away. We always talk about the best ability is availability. You know what I mean? So, you miss 2 months of the season, you wouldn't get my vote. You know what I mean? That's just I'm looking for a guy that's, that has carried his team pillar to post. And like you said, if the Phillies get to the finish line and they win that division, then that's where I'm at. You know what I mean?
So, real quick before I give him my crumb, Jason, hold on. What were Jimmy Rollins' numbers when he won the MVP? So when Jimmy won the MVP, he bet 296, 344 OBP, 531 slugging. He had 30 home runs, 20 triples, 38 doubles, 139 runs, 212 hits, 41 stolen bases, 48 walks, 49 walks.
Not even close.
I mean, that was a monster year.
A monster year. Oh my God! You gotta have the fucking an anvil fall on your head if you didn't vote for J-Roll that year.
Yeah.
I still think it was a fight with somebody else had a monster year that year. I don't know if might have been Matt Holliday. I'm not sure who it was, but it was, obviously it was J-Roll all the way, but it was still, I think somebody else had a monster year too.
Yeah. What was the voting? It was Matt Holliday.
Boom! Come on.
Yeah. Because Matt Holliday, he batted 340, 36 homers, 137 RBIs. In Colorado, of course.
Yikes!
Yeah, Jimmy's 30 homers, 94 RBIs. They were almost identical in some of these numbers. Jimmy Rollins 212 hits, Matt Holliday 216,
20 triples and 41 steals. Good night.
Yeah. Do you guys think this is a flash in the pan, or do the Phillies are going to stay hot and continue to? I think they stay. I don't know if they stay scorching hot, but I think now that they're in first, as long as they just continue to win series, I think they can take it from here. My crumb, I got 2 of them, especially now after today. The Uber creep is back, and please tip your Uber drivers.
Uber creep.
I had 1 out of 6 rides tipped today.
Ooh,
1 out of 6. 1 out of 6. Oh, we did 6 rides. Made it was $200 in 6 rides, but 1 out of 6 rides tipped. And there's a shortage of Uber drivers because you're waiting forever for your Uber. So
included? Is there something included? I mean, okay, no, I didn't want to. I was pleading ignorance there. You know what I mean? When I drink, I usually ride my bike. Down to the end of the block.
My bicycle.
Like fucking ET. I'm looking for ET.
It's not included. There is something before that you go ahead and rate me as a driver. You can add a tip. It's real simple. It says 10, 5, 10, 20%, or custom. And all you got to do is hit a button, but no one hits the button. And they close it out, or whatnot. But yeah, it's annoying because Uber's obviously not giving us per ride as much as they used to. And when you don't get tipped, it's like that $7 ride or that $7 fare to you wasn't as great as it was to go 20 miles in the other direction to take you 5 miles from your house. So tip your Uber drivers. But no, my real crumb is the Eagle beat writers and the fans that fall in love with stats from practice. Case in point, Elliott Shore Parks. After 8 practices, there are 7 members of the 10-10 club here at Eagles training camp. 10 catches, 10 targets. Tyree Jackson, Goddard, Gainwell, Scott, Sanders, Ertz, Hightower. There's a 10-10 club at practice. And then the most egregious one.
Elliott's a fucking hammer, in case anybody's wondering. You know what I mean? Like
most egregious.
I don't care if he's got a blue check or not. Dude's a fucking hammer.
Jalen Hurts through 9 practices. 112 for 156, 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Like, we're really quoting stats for practice. Like, there's no context to these, right? Is it full blown? Is Jalen Hurts getting lit up? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? And then, of course, it's only this city, and these fans just want to latch on to these stats for freaking practice. It just drives me up a wall. It drives me up a wall that the beat writers are even reporting it, and then that obviously the fans that want to buy into it and be like, oh, Jalen Hurts is throwing for 70% completion percentage. I thought he couldn't play. So those are my 2 crumbs. Sweepsy, great job. Went a little longer than an hour.
Yeah,
when you and I get talking baseball, we get rolling.
We're professionals here. There's no lack of substance or no lack of content here, buddy. We can keep going here, buddy.
Absolutely.
We'll shut it down. We appreciate the Ritz, man.
Absolutely.
Put in a little OT. I mean, Greg probably dangled the carrot and told him, hey, just an hour. You know what I mean? Like, put your wrestling dolls down and give us an hour. You know what I mean? An hour.
I was lied to. I was told an hour. Here we are, 35 minutes.
35 minutes.
I was bamboozled. And I'm not the one with the figures. That's Chrome. Don't get us confused. Carry on.
Jimmy, absolutely right. Fletch totally ignoring Jeff McClain's a telling sign of the Philly sports media. Completely agree. We talking about practice. Those crumbs when we care about their narratives. They're absolutely right. We talking about practice. I love it. Got a couple of reads to get through before we get out of here. Andy, thank you again, my brother, for helping us out. Definitely appreciate it. As always, every Sunday we are brought to you by our doc, make him yours, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Dr. Paul Vidal, 2 locations, Cherry Hill, Burlington, New Jersey. Tell him we sent you. He's the GOAT. He's the best. And he's voted best in South Jersey. Go look him up. Bodycheckwellness.com, promo code A2D for 25% off. I got my products in the other day. Like I said, I got some lotion. I got some dry hands. I don't drink enough water. My hands are dry. I drink Mellow Yellow. So I see what the little bit of the CBD lotion does for me. We'll see what that. But bodycheckwellness.com, promo code A2D for 25% off. We're also brought to you by the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. Many of us and our families deal with the mental health and addiction issues. We're happy to support our boy Rob Lutman, the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. If you need help, please call 856-651-8117. We're also looking to buy or sell a home, looking for a change in career brokerage. Contact Alan Foy, friends of some members of our A2D family, Zach Burr and Frank, and he's now part of our family as well at eXp Realty LLC, 302-682-8820, or visit him at alan.foy at exprealty.com. Check him out. Also, as always, Manscaped, 20% off, free shipping, A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job. Manscaped is amazing. Their products are phenomenal. Go use A2D. Huh?
Make your ladies happy.
Make your ladies happy. I'm not only a client. I'm not only a sponsor. I'm a client too. What you go? Ocean City Grilled Cheese. I might have to hit them up in a couple weeks. I might be down there. I will hit them up. I will use code A2D for 10% off. Located on the corner 8th and Ocean. 16 different kind of grilled cheese and tasty on toasty Texas sourdough bread. That is phenomenal. All campus 20% off. I'm going to bomb and photo bomb and video bomb the guys on the rent booth one of these weekends at all campus. Give 20% off the store, including hats, shirts, and team cornhole sets to our subscribers. And speaking of subscribers, become a member of our YouTube and A2D memberships, $9.99 a month. I know Big Nate gave out winning plays yesterday. I didn't know about the ones today. Didn't follow them. Not a member. So I don't know what the plays are. But I'm going to become a member now that I'm home and I can gamble again. That's the best part about being home. Perks include appearances on shows, member-only streams, shout-outs, weekly sports picks by Money Pot and Willie Vegas on the daily fantasy side. Money Pot's been hot. So get on that. $9.99 a month. The picks themselves will pay for your membership. That's all we got, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again. Ritz, thank you for the back end. Sorry for the extra 40 minutes. I appreciate you. Sweepsy, any final words?
Ritz, thank you, buddy. We love you. Everybody for tuning in. Just the two of us. We got after it. Appreciate the Steppy man. Rest in peace to Bobby Bowden. Seminole Nation. Right there. So, our thoughts and prayers to his family, and just had to get that in there real quick.
Absolutely.
But, listen, enjoy the rest of your summer, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Shows every day. Sports Hounds tomorrow. Jimmy and the guys at Fight Zone tomorrow. I'm not sure if Tom and Ryan are doing a Monday morning quarterback, but we got shows every day of the week. Set your alerts. Hit the share. Hit the like. Hit the comment. Hit that bell so you get those notifications. Thank you all. We'll see you next week.
Great job hosting. I want to say that
thanks,
on
buddy.
Before we get out. Great job hosting right there. The reads were quiet. You know what I mean? Look, we still can't get out of here. Rich is like,
Rich is like, will you stop talking?
I just want to give this guy some props. Did a good job.
Appreciate it. Thank you, brother. We'll catch you all next week. Thank you.